Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back today to another video, and in today's video we are lowering the car. So yeah, we're gonna be putting some D2 lowering springs on the Civic. Let's get into the video.
At the time of this install, I went over, I bought a jack and I bought some spring compressors because I did have to jack up the car once, and it wasn't a fun experience with no jack. So I decided to get a jack, and here are what the D2 springs look like. There's a dramatic size difference from the stock springs. So first I'm gonna remove the sway bar bolt, the bolt that connects the strut, and then the upper bolts at the top of the strut. So this sway bar bolt, it's connected to like a ball joint type. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but yeah, if you remove that, be sure that when you move the sway bar, you line it back up. This bolt at the back of the strut was pretty easy to remove. And the fender liner, you could remove these to see the bolts easier, but I just used a light and yeah, removed them. So to remove this bolt from the sway bar, I used a jack just to line things up easier. And like I said, when you put it back, be sure to line it up with that piece. Removing the spring, I had to put a lot of pressure down just to take it out. Here are the new rear coils with the insulators already installed. There we go. This is what it looks like when it's completed. Overall, I would say that this is probably the hardest install that I've done. Right here, we're going to remove the sway bar link bolt, the bolt that connects the strut. And I removed these 3 bolts at the bottom of the sway bar. Sway bar link, that bolt was pretty easy to remove. These 3 bolts at the bottom, from other videos that I've seen, people remove it, but I wasn't really sure if they remove the whole ball joint off from the sway bar or not, because a lot of the videos just skip. And right here, I'm loosening the strut bolts. I'm loosening them, not completely removing them, so I have a little bit of give when I'm working at the bottom of the strut. So here we go. I have the jack holding up the ball joint at the bottom. That's pretty much where I put the jack every time you see a jack. So because I was unsure, I ended up removing the sway bar from the ball joint because I needed more room to pull out the strut, and it was hard. shout out to my guy So. Bro is helping me with installing and removing stuff, because I originally did the other side by myself that I didn't film, and it took me super long compared to what I'm doing right now.
Oh, get the spring away from me. Do I still hold this?
I gotta come up a little bit more. There you go, a little bit more.
Why are you so hesitant?
Because I don't want you to die.
I also shaved off a little bit of the front bumpers as well. And here we go. This is what it looks like with the new springs on. This was probably the hardest part, reinstalling the ball joint to the sway bar and having to put the strut back in. It took a lot of turning and pushing and pulling and just trying to line up the 3 bolts with the sway bar. But after we did it, you feel a sense of accomplishment after you do it. I didn't know if other people actually removed it, but we removed the ball joint. I highly recommend having another set of hands, or like people that know a little bit about, you know, suspension and how things work, because if you have someone to help you, then two minds are better than one. And so after we lined it up, I just put everything back in the way that we took it out.
So when we're gonna start working on your car?
And then that night, as I was driving, I did notice there was a knocking sound on the passenger side front wheel. So the next day I took it in for an alignment.